Today you're going to be taking the test in Texas history, cotton, cattle, and the railroad, and age of oil. Some vocabulary. Barbed wire fence is the first picture, and then there's a close-up of barbed wire. Question 1. Why was barbed wire an important invention during the cotton, cattle, and railroads era? A. It allowed farmers to grow more cotton. B. It resulted in better management of public land. C. It led to the end of the frontier and the open range. D. It led to the increase in the number of sharecroppers. Some vocabulary for question 2. Resistance. It means refusal to comply with or accept something. Number 2. As a young man, he was a major figure in his tribe's resistance to the white man's way and settlement onto reservations. He later adapted with ease to reservation life and became perhaps the wealthiest American Indian, thanks to his part in his shrewd investments in railroad stock. Which person does the above excerpt describe? Peta Noconda, G. Quinine Parker, H. Chief Boyles, J. James Hogg. The same question reworded is, as a young Native American, he was an important leader in his tribe, and their refusal to accept doing things the white man's way or accepting life on reservations. When he was older, he lived on a reservation and became the richest Native American Indian by investing in the railroad stock. Question 3, vocabulary. Expanded means it got bigger or it grew. Imported means to bring in from another country, foreign country. Ranges is open land. 3. During the late 1800s, the Texas cattle industry expanded. How were cattle first introduced to Texas? A. The British imported them from England. B. The Aztec raised them before the arrival of Europeans. C. The Comanches brought them from ranges further north. D. The Spanish imported them from Europe. So how did we get the Texas Longhorn? Number 4, some vocabulary. The growth of the oil industry. I put a picture there. Other vocabulary was specifically demand. It's the amount of something that people want to buy at a certain price. Decrease means less or goes down. Increase means more. Reliance means you depend on something or dependence. Urbanized is from the base word urban, which means cities. So what they were saying in the answer choice is that there's more big cities. So the question is, 4, how did the growth of the oil industry affect Texas? F, it decreased the demand of cotton, led to the decline in agriculture. G, it increased pollution which led to a decline in immigration to Texas. H, decreasing reliance on overseas trade led to ports closing. J, growth in jobs led Texas to become more urbanized. So what did the growth of oil industry do to Texas? Number 5. There's a picture of buffalo soldiers. Okay, here is the passage. At the conclusion of the Civil War, many African American soldiers who remained in the United States Army were organized into segregated units. These units, commanded by white officers, consistently received some of the worst duties that the Army had to offer. Several of these units, including the 9th and 10th Cavalry, were put into service to control Indian hostiles on the Great Plains. It's ironic that these black soldiers who were just recently gained their own freedom were now ordered to take freedom away from a group of people who had known it all of their lives. And this was written by National Park Service. According to this passage, what does the author imply or infer about the Buffalo Soldier service? A, that the African Americans may have felt conflicted about their frontier assignments. B, the United States Army was just pleased to have the African Americans join the Army. C, African American soldiers were just happy to be fighting with the American Indians. Or D, the American Indians resented the African American soldiers more than they did the white soldiers.
Number 6. One of the words is spurred, which means started, and petroleum is oil. 6. During the early 1900s, which event spurred the petroleum boom in Texas? Was it World War I? Was it G, the Civil War? H, the end of Reconstruction? Or J, the Great Depression? What spurred the petroleum boom in Texas? Number 7. Which of these occurred as a result of the 19th Amendment? A, Texas women were able to vote in general elections. B, African American men were able to vote in national elections. C, Texans could vote directly for a senator. D, American Indians could vote in state elections. What was the 19th Amendment of the Constitution? Number 8, vocabulary. Supply, the amount of something that people want to sell at a certain price. Demand, the amount of something that people want to buy at certain prices. 8. What was the effect of the supply and demand on cattle ranching in Texas after the Civil War? Was it F, decreasing demand for beef led to low prices and ranchers went out of business? G, increasing demand for pork led to higher prices and cattle ranchers switched to pig farming? H, decreasing demands for cotton led to higher prices for beef and the growth in cattle ranching? J, increasing demands for beef in the cities led to higher prices and an increase in cattle ranching? Number 9. Which effect did the 3 inventions pictured above have on cattle ranching in Texas during the 19th century? The windmill, the railroad, and barbed wire. A, ranches just got smaller because of lack of water. B, more cattle trails were created along the newly created railroad tracks. G, cattle drives declined or decreased with the end of the open range. D, cowhands continued to drive cattle north to the railroad. Number 11. A large Czech population settled the rich farmlands in the central regions of the state. They brought with them their love of music, and polka in particular. They formed organizations such as the Slavonic Benevolent Order of the State of Texas, which helped to maintain their heritage, while also providing socialization and promotion of strong minds and bodies. The halls these organizations built became venues or places for social events such as dances, which preserved and advanced polka music and dance. The Czech heritage still dominates polka music in Texas today. The above passage best supports the idea that A, people learn to peacefully resolve ethnic conflict. B, immigrants often protect their cultural identity. C, polka music originated in the United States. D, Czech traditions influenced Mexican traditions. Number 12. Speaker 1. I will work to pass laws that improve worker conditions in factories. Speaker 2. I will help create jobs by encouraging less regulation on manufacturers. Speaker 3. I will use all my powers to execute the existing laws of the United States. Speaker 4. I will protect the rights of the business owner as guaranteed by the United States Constitution. Which speaker is expressing the views of progressivism?
Speaker 1, Speaker 2, Speaker 3, or Speaker 4? Which one? Make sure you've recorded all your answers on your answer document.